I text that again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start streaming out that, and that, stop it. Knock it off, cuz. Stop it. Tell them to send that bag, and I'm coming. And I'm, you know.
Gervonta Tank Davis initially stated he can't fight YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul, who is 12 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 7 wins by way of knockout, until he reached the status of Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and Canelo Alvarez.
Man, I think it's great for boxing. I think like boxing right now is like on top, you know what I'm saying, of the sport, bro. You know, one thing is boxing will never die, bro. Like everybody wants to see that kind of comp.
Gervonta Davis has broken his silence on the upcoming showdown with Jake Paul, and his message was blunt. He's not impressed. Speaking with his trademark confidence, Davis declared that Jake simply doesn't belong in the same ring, dismissing him as nothing more than an Instagram boxer. He doubled down, saying Paul's out of shape.
To me, like, I don't think that would even be, like, fair.
No, I think that he's you know how he got fat? He's a Instagram boxer.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to leave my girl around him and shit, but, like, I don't know about when it comes to boxing, like...
It wouldn't be fun. He's a really good looking
I wouldn't want to leave...
No, he
like,
would. It's not fair.
You know, I'd probably be a little worried, to be honest, but...
With Ryan?
When it comes to boxing,
Ryan
it's
looks like a Greek
Tank,
goddess.
Tank would fucking toss him down.
No, he does. He's a good-looking dude. You're right. I would be afraid to leave my girl around him.
And he is dope to watch in, like, the Instagram videos and shit, too. Like, he has fast hands and shit. He's obviously a good boxer, but...
Yeah.
What about when it comes to, like, this level? It wouldn't even be fair?
He can't compete with me. People in the gym will tell you, like, I've really got
experience and lacks the technical pedigree to pose any real threat, leaving no ambiguity about how little he rates Jake's chances. This is nothing new for Davis, who has never been shy about voicing his opinions on rivals. In fact, Paul has often found himself in Tank's crosshairs. In past interviews, Davis brushed off even the thought of fighting Jake, saying the YouTube star would have to reach the level of true greats like Mike Tyson, Manny Pacquiao, or Canelo Alvarez before he would take such a bout seriously. For Davis, boxing has always been about legacy, respect that is earned through years of sacrifice and proving yourself against the very best, not quick stardom and viral fame. But now that the fight is officially signed, fans have been quick to point out the shift in narrative. Critics argue that while Davis once dismissed Jake as irrelevant, he may have been swayed by the financial windfall the matchup brings. To them, Tank's decision reflects less about legacy and more about cashing in on the spectacle. This contrast has fueled heated debate.
Gervonta Tank Davis initially stated he can't fight YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul, who is 12 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 7 wins by way of knockout, until he reached the status of Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and Canelo Alvarez. And now yesterday, we have gotten an announcement that November 14th in Atlanta, Georgia, Gervonta Tank Davis, instead of fighting the highly anticipated rematch with WBA super featherweight, now lightweight star title contender, whom they fought March 1st to a controversial draw, and that being Lamont Rose Jr., who was 25 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws, 10 wins by way of knockout. Gervonta Tank Davis is instead going to fight Jake Paul. So now he views himself on the level of Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and Canelo Alvarez. He feels like he has achieved what he set out to achieve to reach that level. And or he just seen the money flashing and decided that's the right direction to go in, because he clearly has not reached that level. He said that he had to do things in the sport of boxing still and fight his peers. He's only fought one.
Is Davis sticking to the ideals as always preached, or has he traded them for a blockbuster payday, Shakur Stevenson, the undefeated technician and rising star, also weighed in on the matchup. While acknowledging Jake's size advantage, Stevenson insisted it won't matter. Boxing, he explained, is decided by skill, speed, and ring IQ, all areas where Davis excels. Stevenson was adamant. No amount of training or hustle can close the gap between a career boxer and someone who only recently picked up the sport. He praised Davis's explosiveness, pinpoint accuracy, and knockout power, stressing that those attributes would completely overshadow Jake's physical edge. Coming from Stevenson, a fighter renowned for his analytical eye and tactical brilliance, this carries serious weight. Not everyone, however.
His last fight when he fought Lamont, Jake Paul was at the fight. He told y'all he was going to fight somebody like Jake Paul. So I'm not shocked. It don't surprise me. So, nah.
You know, Shakur, Jake, when he fought Mike Tyson, he was 227 pounds. He was 199 and like 199 point something his last fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He hasn't been only boxing for a couple of years. He's 12-1. Tank Davis obviously been boxing his whole life. He's 30-0-1. He's knocked everybody out except for 3 opponents in his life. But at what point does size matter so much, though, where it can't be overcome, Shakur? And is it in this case here when you've got what is like a 70-pound difference between these two guys?
I mean, size will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just gonna go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and said he's got good power. Not even and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is he's been boxing his whole life. He's been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's gonna be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Celebrating the announcement, British heavyweight Dave Allen voiced his disappointment, calling the matchup yet another exhibition-style circus. For Allen, Davis has already carved out his reputation in boxing and should be looking either toward meaningful bouts with elite contenders or even retirement, not lowering his stock by facing a social media personality. He argued that these kinds of events strip boxing of its authenticity, turning the sport into a money grab rather than a true test of skill and will. In his eyes, the best way to honor Davis' legacy would be to allow him to close his career with dignity, not step into a crossover fight dot on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. Analysts dissected the fight from multiple angles. Their consensus was clear. While the matchup is a massive headline grabber, it lacks the substance of a...
The fight against real bears, this is true. People are going, no chance, no chance. Do you reckon this guy, could he be the toughest of your opponents so far, do you reckon?
I don't think he's the best that I've faced. I've faced a few Olympic medalists, a few world title challengers, but I think he's probably the most dangerous. Maybe not the best boxer, he might not be the most technical, but he hits really hard, he's really big and strong. So yeah, I think it's the most dangerous task I've faced, but he may be not the best fighter I've been in with.
Whereabouts is the fight, Dave? Where are you fighting him?
He's still at Sheffield Arena,
right?
Headlining in Sheffield, which is like my local arena. So yeah, it's a big night for me.
He won his last fight, didn't he, Dave, against Ricardo Brown, and 20 wins, 19 KOs he's got. So like you says, he is dangerous. How's the training gone for you ahead of this fight?
Yeah, it's been good. He's put a bit of fear in me, to be honest. I've had a bit of genuine fear. I've been stopped, but I've never been on the canvas ever as a pro or amateur. So, and I'd like to keep it that way, really. Yeah. I'm not on anyone's highlight reel. You see highlight reels of all the fighters I face. I'm not on any of them, and I'd like to keep it that way. So yeah, training has gone up a notch. For the Fisher rematch, I did weigh a little bit heavy. So for this one, if I cut any corners, there's a good chance I'll get beat in bad fashion. So it has really perked me up a little bit. I've been training a tiny bit harder. I've been eating a whole lot better and resting, and I think I'm looking at a career best performance.
Good man. Let's move on top of this big news of the day. Cruiserweight Jake Paul And WBA lightweight world champion Gervonta Davis will step in the ring together in an exhibition in Atlanta, November 14. For context, the top weight for cruiserweight sits at 90.7 kilos, while the heaviest a lightweight can be is 61.2. Dave, this is surely I know it's an exhibition, but this is a mismatch, surely. It's ridiculous.
I'm not a fan of exhibitions as it is. I think if we're doing exhibitions, if there have to be a thing, let it be a thing for retired fighters.
Genuine competitive clash. Some went as far as to compare it with Mike Tyson's recent exhibition return, a spectacle built more on intrigue and nostalgia than on sporting merit. Gervonta Davis has broken his silence on the upcoming showdown down to entertainment value, and his message was blunt. Anything is not impressed. They highlighted the trademark mismatch. Davis declared that Jake simply doesn't belong in the same frame, dismissing him as built-in size advantage that Gervonta Davis simply doesn't have. He doubled down, still saying Paul's out of shape, Tank's superior speed, and lacks the technical pedigree to pose ring any intelligence would allow him leaving no ambiguity about how little he rates even against a heavy opponent. This is nothing new for Davis, the disparity who has never been shy about voicing his opinions on the complexion of the fight. In fact, instead of being a legitimate clash between Tank's crosshairs, it becomes more of a spectacle engineered to captivate Davis brushed off even the thought of dominate headlines, and saying the YouTube star would have to reach the level of true greats like Mike Tyson. This isn't about crowning a better boxer. It's about creating a blockbuster event designed for maximum attention. For Davis, former super middleweight boxing has always been about.
And by the way, like I feel like this was similar to the as I alluded to earlier, the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight had similar kind of question marks around it. Like, is this going to be an exhibition or is this going to be an official fight? And you kind of go through the motions and go through the process of this. So I imagine that Jake Paul, Nikisa Badarian, and MVP are going through the process of trying to get this to be an official fight. And if not, they can still do this as an exhibition, no problem. What weight class they meet at is going to be very fascinating, right? Like, is Jake Paul going to try to get down lower in weight to make it more fair?
Can they meet at a weight class, or will they just agree on what they're willing to fight at?
Even if they meet at a weight class, let's just do the math, right? Even if they met at, I don't know, 190? No, I don't think Jake Paul can
get up to 190.
I don't think Jake Paul can get down to that.
Thus, why I think it'll be an exhibition.
No, Gervonta can get up to, okay, there's in MMA, for certain weight classes, you must be a minimum weight, right? You can't be within X percentage difference of your opponent.
Yeah.
There are some jurisdictions where I don't believe that is accurate, where that is true. I'm curious if Atlanta is one of them. We should try to look into that if we can. Maybe Jordan can look into that. If there's a weight minimum that you have to meet. Otherwise, if they agreed to a catch weight of, let's say, 100, what's the lowest Jake Paul's ever fought at?
I don't know. 185 for the Nate Diaz fight?
I have to think that's the smallest, right? Here, we're going to do...
Okay, let's say like he can get down to 180.
Unfortunately, Tapology doesn't have the weight on here.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say he can get down to one of those weights. Let's just say hypothetically 185. Is Gervonta Davis getting up to that?
He will not get up to that, but he can get within 20 pounds of it, maybe? Yeah, maybe.
I mean, do you think it's a strategic move for them to put it in Atlanta?